Welcome to DES Leadership Academy. Today we'll be talking about professional learning communities that lead to results, part 2. And I'm Dr. Anna Alhout. Previously, we looked at the continuum of the professional learning community that leads to results. It begins with collaboratively planning, setting SMART goals, teaching the guaranteed and viable curriculum, administering common assessments, analyzing results, and plan to provide intervention or enrichment. This is a commitment that a team makes to learn together interdependently. We've looked at creating team norms and assessing the current reality through data. Today we'll look at setting SMART goals and determining the guaranteed and viable curriculum. When you set SMART goals, they're specifics to student learning. They state exactly what the learner will be able to do. That's what the S stands for. The M stands for measurable. It can be observed, meaning a tangible product, not abstract like the student will learn or understand. A is for attainable. It's for students within scheduled time, a specified condition. A goal should be high, but within reason. So that's what attainable is. It's results-based and relevant, a way for students to demonstrate their learning while meeting the needs of the students. Time-bound. You have to have a specific time because it can't go on forever. It should be achievable by the end of that time frame, which is set by the team. According to research, goal setting is the single most powerful motivational tool in a leader's toolkit. Why? Because goal setting operates in ways that provide purpose, challenge, and meaning. Goals are the guidepost along the road that make a compelling vision come alive. Goals energize people. They're specific, they're clear, they challenge. They lead to greater effort and achievement than easy or vague goals. That's Blanchard. Others have said goal setting is one of the simplest and most effective organizational interventions that can be used to increase employee performance. Schools with teachers who learn and kids who achieve use clear, agreed upon student achievement goals to focus and shape their teacher learning. Collegial support and professional development in schools are unlikely to have any effect on improvement of practice and performance if they are not connected to a coherent set of goals that give direction and meaning to learning and collegiality. You see, goals are an integral part of the professional learning community that leads to results, because without these, you can't attain the results that are required. Gallimore and his team found that in their investigations, they suggest it is critical to define and publish a protocol that articulates specific inquiry functions, jointly and recursively identifying appropriate and worthwhile goals for student learning, finding or developing appropriate means to assess student progress towards those goals, bringing to the table the expertise of colleagues and others who can assist in accomplishing these goals, planning, preparing, and delivering lessons using evidence from the classroom to evaluate instruction, and finally, reflecting on the process to determine next steps. Some examples. For preschool, The percentage of preschool students who can recognize all of their upper and lowercase letters will increase from 60% to 70% by the end of May 2020, as measured by a teacher-developed common formative assessment. Some others for elementary. The percentage of kindergarten students scoring at grade level or above will increase from 80% to 90% by the end of May 2020, as measured by the Pearson Developmental Reading Assessment. The percentage of first grade students scoring proficient or higher in reading fluency and comprehension will increase from 73% to 84% by the end of May 2020, as measured by district-created end-of-year reading assessments. The percentage of first grade students scoring proficient or higher in reading fluency and comprehension will increase from 73% to 84% by the end of May 2020, as measured by district-created end-of-the-year reading assessment. The percentage of third grade students scoring proficient or higher in math will increase from 45% to 65% by the end of May 2020, as measured by the FSA in mathematics. As you can see, these are SMART goals. It tells you who is going to be involved, which would be the students, at what level should they be performing, and it's measurable. And it has an end date. And when you're thinking of your SMART goals, that's what you need to look at. And these are attainable. Let's look at middle school. The percentage of sixth grade students scoring proficient or higher in equations and expression standards will increase from 67% to 78% by the end of May 2020. As measured by the Florida Standardized End-of-Year Assessment. The percentage of elective students tells you the population. Where do you want them to score? Proficient or higher. That's the goal. Where? In reading comprehension. And by how many percentages? Or when you're looking at this, you're looking at how are you going to measure it? Well, 76% to 86% by the end of May 2020. And what tool are you going to be measuring it with? Common formative assessments. And the others on the screen are also solid SMART goal examples. Let's move to high school. In high school, the percentage of geometry students scoring proficient or higher will increase from 63% to 75% by May 2020, as measured by the Geometry End of Course Assessment. The percentage of high school seniors scoring proficient or higher in reading readiness will increase from 60% to 75% by May 2020, as measured by the ACT reading test. The percentage of career and technical education students demonstrating proficiency in reading and comprehensive or science technical texts will increase from 75% to 85% as measured by informational text and vocabulary comprehension performance assessments. We've gone through in part 1 and now part 2 how to create team norms, how to assess the current reality with data. I've shown you examples of how to set SMART goals. And now to talk about determining the guaranteed and viable curriculum. There are 4 critical questions that are going to guide us in this journey. What specifically do we expect all students to learn? How will we know when each student has learned it? How will we respond when students are having difficulty learning? And how will we respond when students demonstrate that they have learned? Our curriculum comes from districts that establish these, which are driven by state standards. So when we look at the viable curriculum, we're looking more how are we going to deliver it and implement it with students. This is an easy way of laying out your unit plan as a professional learning community. There are many tools out there, but this one captures those 4 questions. The first one, part 1, what do we want students to learn? Well, guess what? You can put your SMART goal there, which is based on your curriculum. What's the power standard that we'll be using that supports that SMART goal? What daily objectives are you going to have to help scaffold this material and this knowledge, especially for children that need it? What suggested texts are there available to support that SMART goal? What academic vocabulary will be used in this unit? What strategies will be used to deliver it? And it even has a place where you can have high-level questions that you can have as tools to use throughout your unit. You see, part 1 is where all of that brain power of your professional learning community comes together and works on the unit. Remember, we talked about relevancy and real-life applications? Those need to be captured. So when delivering the lessons, you have those to share with students. And what writing prompts can be used to meet the SMART goal? Part 2 is, how will we know when they have learned it? A common assessment can be written by all members and used, along with the rubric or criteria that will be used to grade the assessment. Part 3 is, what will we do if they haven't learned it? That's where your interventions come in and your differentiation. And part 4 would be, what will we do when they already know it? And that's enrichment for those students that have the opportunity to dig deeper and grow by using the content. This form, I have it. If you would like to have a copy of it to use, please don't hesitate in reaching out to me, and I will gladly send you this form. It brings us to looking ahead. Believe it or not, we touched lightly upon the professional learning community. There is so much more to be learned about the professional learning community. This was a brief overview. We talked about collaboratively planning. We set SMART goals. We looked at how to teach the guaranteed and viable curriculum through those 4 questions. Administering common assessments was part of that tool. Analyzing results, we did that when we looked at the current situation. And planning and providing intervention or enrichment, it's something that a team has to do for the students that still have not gotten the concept, or students that have but need more enrichment. Where are you in the professional learning community continuum? What steps will you take to move to the next level of the continuum? Please write about this in your reflection log. Thank you.